Hey everybody, this is Annie Noodle and I am here with this giant mess of awesome hairness to show you how I take my goofy self-portraits and turn them into portraits of fantasy people. Right? That's what we want to see here. Yes, I'm sure I'll think of a better way to say that by the time I make a title for this video, but for now, fantasy people, portraits from self-portraits with me with this big mess of hair. Yeah, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, let's go. Okay, so first of all, I really don't have that thing where I'm embarrassed to make stupid faces all the time. So I start off by making a bunch of stupid faces and taking pictures of myself. I think Tiny is gonna come help us. Yeah, she is. Who's that Tiny? Who's that Tiny? Yes, there she is. So this is in my bathroom. As you can see, I am making a goofy face. This one I like to call my Wayne's World reject face. Because I did not take off my glasses. I'm not sure why. I thought a troll might like wearing glasses. They might. You don't know. All right. So I was just trying to go through my house and take pictures of me in different lighting situations and make goofy faces. I wanted my hand involved. I wanted my hair really messy and giant. Which is hard to do when you don't have hairspray anymore, which I haven't owned hairspray in probably 30 years. So, went out on my front porch. These I feel like we're getting there. We're getting there. Got the hand up, got the dramatic hair, the light is harsh, I'm making a ridiculous face. This I feel like, like I could see a troll making this face. Yep, here we are, making faces. So these are the ones that I chose from. I actually, as this is a commission piece, I sent a few of these over to the person who was commissioning this and said, which ones do you like? I personally like this one. It's very I don't know, like if a troll was also an opera singer. This is, I feel like, where the troll would be right there. But he said he liked this one, and I agree with some additions. I think this is going to be a great troll. I actually think I'm going to use this one where I'm looking into the camera because it gives me a little a threatening vibe. So we're going to go with this one, and now we're going to turn this selfie into a fantasy portrait. Okay, so now we have a cheapy sketchbook that we're just going to do like a rough sketch on before we transfer it to some nice watercolor paper. And if you look closely, you might be able to see, I have the size of that paper right here. I also have a few notes about what I want to do to make this more troll-like based on what the client wants, right? So the client wants this troll to have a big kind of pointy nose and maybe pointy ears, kind of a sloping forehead and some lanky limbs. And lanky limbs might not necessarily come into play here because this is just going to be a portrait. But because I do want to include the hand, I want to keep that in mind to not use my very adorable chubby fingers, but maybe use kind of longer, skinnier kind of fingers when I'm doing that. Okay, so this is VoiceOver Annie, and I am using my fancy new microphone. I'm really excited about it. So, so we're starting off here, and I am just going through and putting in the features that I think are the most important to capture my trollish inner self. I want, really to emphasize my grumpy brows, my squinty eyes, my lots of wrinkles on my nose. I'm pretty sure I go in and get my forehead wrinkles in there too eventually. And as I said, I want to make sure I have a long nose and that my forehead is sloped. I kind of want to look a little bit hag-like, maybe. I extended my mouth down a little bit more and I put in some jaggedy teeth. So these are the things that I'm doing. Oh, and there you can see my glasses. Oopsie doodle. So, and this is just a rough sketch. I put in the hand. It is enormous. I'm using my own hand as a reference because I didn't like the way that the hand in the picture was shaped. So, you gotta wing it sometimes. I think I do eventually make the hand a little bit smaller, maybe. Or maybe I don't. Maybe it's just a gigantic troll hand and we're just gonna go with it. So then I take that sketch and I trace it onto nice watercolor paper, which I did not do on camera because I feel like you guys understand tracing well enough. I do want to do a cool video sometime where I'm just inking on my light box because I really want to spend more time doing that. And why not record the process so when I mess it up completely you guys can see and learn from my mistakes. So I already traced this onto the watercolor paper and taped it down, and now I'm going back in and just solidifying all of the lines that I want and making sure that I still have the feeling and the expression that I want in my troll picture. 'Cause usually when I trace in pencil, I'm just very lightly going over like the big key elements and then I kind of go back in because I feel like if I do a lot of just tracing, I don't get the gestural feel that I want to keep in my lines. I start feeling like I'm get too rigid if I'm just tracing carefully, which is what's going to make it interesting when I try to ink this way. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what I come up with. And I've watched other people do it and they get really beautiful gestural lines still. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying that. I'm also doing a little bit of designing overall. Like I've got the face in and the hand, and I kind of wanted to have that big swoop of hair. Now we're going to start watercoloring. I've got my hake brush. Oh, nope. Got to go over it first with the kneaded eraser to lighten some of the pencil lines that I just bothered putting back in. Art is so weird. So anyways, now I'm going into the hake brush and I've actually already wetted the paper. I just edited that out because it's boring to watch. So I'm going with the hake brush and I think these are core paints. I've just had them sitting on this palette since basically the dawn of time now. So I'm trying to use them up. And I'm really surprised, like, this is purple, and I think that's actually a Schminke's Random Gray in there. That's not a core color, so that purple is core, and it's lovely. But both of these actually they dried a lot lighter than I thought they would. Oh my gosh, you guys, this video is like all about new horizons for me, so I hope you're gonna be patient as I'm trying to figure things out. And I really hope that you can't hear like the super loud traffic that just went by. But yeah, so this is my B-roll. Like, I actually have a secondary camera setup that my friends are letting me borrow to see if I like having a secondary camera for my art. And I'm really liking it so far, except for the part where I'm technologically inept. So it's been kind of a struggle for me to like get things to work right. And when I recorded this looked super dark, and there was a bunch of footage that I just couldn't use at all, even when I like did some fidgeting in the edit process. Yeah. So please be patient with me as I learn how to be better at YouTube videos. So about the watercolor process, I have a problem when I paint that I don't get my values dark enough. So I've been really trying to focus a lot on putting my dark values in first and being unafraid of going back over them until they're actually dark and not just like, oh, that looks okay. Like, no, it doesn't. dark. You want dark values. It's okay to have dark values in watercolor. Friends, family, it is okay to have dark values in your painting. You want dark values in your painting. So yeah, that's kind of one of those things that I spent a lot of time in this video, and I will definitely be talking about that again because it is something that I think is really important, that I think, especially for some reason in watercolor, like dark values are almost kind of looked down on. But I am here to tell you that even in watercolor, it is okay to have dark colors. In fact, it's art. Do whatever you want. If you don't want dark colors, you don't need to. But it does give you a lot of... having good contrast in your art makes it more interesting to look at. So, whether you want to achieve contrast through values or through colors or through other means like texture, all of these things are valid. You can do all of them if you would like. Do you see that? Where I'm like switching between the cameras? Isn't that cool? Yeah, I think that's like the last time I did that because I couldn't get the rest of the footage cleaned up well enough. But I'm learning. Gonna have more stuff in the future where I, have more than one camera roll. So that's gonna be cool. I'm also learning that recording audio is a little bit different. I'm using a different video editor and I'm definitely not used to it. Like I said, this video is all new things. New cameras, new audio equipment, new video editor, because why as a sane person would I have just added one new thing at a time when I could add all the new things at once and just, spend a couple hours weeping in frustration because I can't figure anything out. You guys know that you do this stuff too. At least some of you do. I know I'm not the only one who has no chill, okay? I just want to try all the new things at once. What? So anyways, like I said, you can see that I am going in and adding more dark tones over the tones that were already dark. And I really want to make sure I keep that facial expression, so I'm really trying to pay attention to all of the little wrinkles and stuff that were in. I'm going to keep saying my face, even though I'd like to think that I don't actually look that much like a troll, but so in my face, in the reference photo that were very dark, I am definitely trying to keep those places very dark. And I'm doing this whole thing, I believe, with a size 10 round, synthetic round from Etcher. I have 3 brushes that I use over and over and over again. I really like the Etcher brushes. This is their watercolor set. I've heard good things about their gouache brushes, so I might eventually get some of those. I mean, don't tell anybody, but I am legitimately trying not to buy art supplies for a while because, so I have a couple things in the mail right now that I promised myself I could get already, but I'm trying not to buy anything else for a while because I have so much stuff and it is amazing stuff, and I need to use it more. Yeah. Especially my giant piles of gouache that I was talking about. So what is it this reminds me of? This reminds me of a Buffy villain. I feel like a lot of the things that I do have a stage in them that reminds me of a Buffy villain. Probably because there's a Buffy villain for every situation in life. Just like there's an episode of The Simpsons that will help you describe every situation in your life. I think it's the Death of Children episode where Buffy's in the hospital and she fights that creepy monster that has eyes that come out and try to eat you. Yeah, I think that's what this reminds me of at this point. Okay, so I am having a bit of a battle with my audio setup, and so we're gonna do the rest of this video in little bits. So there might be some longer pauses in between my usual lengthy chatter. Because my audio seems to take longer than the video that it is corresponding to while I'm doing my voiceover. Yeah, so I don't know how to fix that yet, and I would like to get this video out today because I have managed to not miss a Wednesday yet since I decided to start doing Wednesdays. So you can see that I'm starting to put in the wrinkles and things on her face to try to keep her trolly, angry, grump expression going on. And I will probably go over those a few more times just so that they look more like shadows and less like lines. Although I do like lines in my art, so there will be some places that just look like lines, and that's fine too. Just so you guys know, I don't watch these after I'm done editing, so whatever weirdness happens, I really hope things turn out okay because I am basically going to render this and make a thumbnail and then upload it to YouTube and be like, well, I'm done with that. I don't look at it afterwards, so I hope it's not a hot mess. So I'm just going in again to reinforce all of the darkest spots that are still needing to get a little bit darker than they are right now, just to match the reference photo, because I really like the dramatic lighting in the reference photo. So I want to try to emulate that as much as I can. I guess the problem with having no chill and wanting to do all of the new things at once instead of just actually figuring out how to use my audio equipment and then the new editor and then the new camera in whatever order is that it makes a giant hot mess for me and I don't know how to fix things. So, sorry. I want to make sure to say that even though I am putting in all of these darks, I'm really trying to be careful to leave in highlights and put different tones in the darks area. You don't want it to just be one solid black, you know? So like that's why I'm leaving this highlight up on her chin, or not chin, her cheek that's there in the reference photo. Like I went back with a little bit of water and just lifted that dark out a little bit because I wanted that light spot on her cheek to show up still. And that's a fairly normal spot to have a little bit of a light area when you're doing portraits, is on the cheek, because of the, cheeks are kind of sticky outy, so they tend to pick up a little bit more light than other areas around them. I am also trying to leave that line along her jaw lit with reflected light. So like the dark spot on her neck is next to a light spot on her jaw, and that gives you that feeling of kind of depth to kind of give you a feeling that there's like a form there instead of just paint on a page. You're looking at an actual troll who may or may not be coming for you. And then I go back in again to go over the darkest places in her wrinkles to keep her angry wrinkle face going on. And I start putting in some of the lines that I want to keep in the picture for later. That's kind of more of a like end phase thing, and we are getting kind of close to the end of her face. I have a lot of other work to do on the painting, but her face is nearing finished. So just going in again on the hand to make it a little bit darker and more similar to the dark places on her face. We don't want the hand to be so detailed that it distracts you from looking at her face, because that should be like really the focus. But we also don't want it to be so undetailed and badly rendered that it actually draws your attention by being really ugly. So you got to hit the sweet spot where it's detailed enough and finished enough to not distract from the rest of the painting that you want somebody to actually be looking at. So I'm adding fingernails and adding a little bit of form with some more shadows to her hand and her fingers, but not so much that it'll be distracting from the rest of the image. So I'm also going in and adding lines to the hand still too, because I don't want it to be, like I said, so undetailed that it's distracting. But I want to have the lines in there that I'm adding to other places on her face, while still keeping it not so detailed that it's distracting. So I really wanted to take this time as we near the end of the video to say how much I appreciate you guys who come here and subscribe to my channel and watch my videos and leave comments and etc. Like, we were at 100 subs last week, which was already so amazing to me. Like, I can't believe that. And today I think we're up to about 120, and that's so much growth in a week to me. Like, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Like, I am so I don't have words, guys. Like, I don't have words. Thank you so much, just for being your awesome selves. And in case I haven't said it already, a super huge thank you for putting up with me as I learn how to use all of these weird new gadgets that I am getting to try to make these videos a little bit fancier for you guys. I appreciate your patience. Also, just to let you know, I do have another little vacation coming up next week, and I think I will still have the chance to get a video out. Fingers crossed. I don't know. This one was kind of a hot mess, so we'll see. Drop me a comment and let me know what you think of my troll lady, and tell me that I make an amazing troll. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye. Oh, and one more thing. At the urging of a very good friend of mine, I am going to start a TikTok. So we'll see how that adventure goes. Okay, now I'm really leaving. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.